Howdy, and welcome to Economic and Legal Considerations for Hemp Production in Texas. I'm George Knapek, and today in this short video, I'm going to talk to you about the hemp plant itself. Now, disclaimer, I am not an agronomist. I'm an economist by trade, so this is going to be a short and very basic, rudimentary overview of the hemp plant. And really what I want to talk to you about is really two main considerations. First, hemp plant is what scientists would refer to as being dioecious, meaning it has male plants and female plants, as opposed to being monoecious, where the plant contains both male and female parts. So this has ramifications for the end use of your hemp, what you're growing your hemp for, right? So in hemp, the male plants produce the pollen, their flowers produce pollen, and they pollinate the female plants, which have female flowers, and then the female plants produce the seed. Obviously, if you're growing for grain, you need some male plants to produce pollen to pollinate the female plants to produce the seed. However, the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're growing for cannabinoids, in particular, let's say CBD, most of the time you do not want male plants. That's because the female flowers, female buds, contain the highest concentrations of the cannabinoids, so they're very important. If you have male plants, they will pollinate the female flowers, they will begin to produce seed, and they will begin to lose some of that high concentration of the cannabinoids. So in general, male plants are not wanted in cannabinoid production. Thus, if you've ever heard the term feminized seed, that means seed that just produces female plants. And that would be for cannabinoid production. The second subject I wanted to cover is this idea or this concept of photoperiodism. Essentially, I have this definition up here, but essentially it boils down to, is the plant affected by day length, hours of light or hours of darkness? Right? And what response does it put out to those changes in day length? Well, most hemp is photoperiodic, and it is a short day plant, meaning as the nights get longer, it puts out its response, and that response is flowering. So the day length has the effect of making the hemp plant flower. This has big ramifications for what you're growing your hemp for, be it cannabinoids, grain, or fiber. There is a second variety, or a different variety of hemp that is day neutral. It's referred to in the industry as autoflower. And essentially what that means is once you plant the hemp, there's X number of days until it flowers. It doesn't depend on daylight. It doesn't depend on the length of the day or the length of the night. It's just I planted on X date, and Y days later, it's going to flower. So those two concepts, critical, depending on what you're growing for, when you want to harvest, and so forth. So after covering that, I thought I would just go through a few photos that I've taken in my hemp research. This is a picture of a large female hemp plant that is flowering and is being grown for CBD. You can see the nice big flowers and buds. And if we look a little closer, you can see what is referred to on this plant as trichomes. Those little stringy white things are actually trichomes, very rich in cannabinoids. This is a picture of a male hemp plant that has released its pollen. And this is a picture of a female hemp plant that has been pollinated and is starting to produce seed. This is a picture of fiber hemp that is grown for fiber. It is generally planted closer together. It is a tall, skinnier plant as opposed to some of those big Christmas tree looking plants that would be used for cannabinoids. Here are the hemp plants put together, planted close together in a field variety trial. It just goes to show you that the variety and what the end purpose is used for is going to have a big difference on how the hemp plant looks. Here you have some seed and fiber varieties next to some cannabinoid varieties, all still hemp, but they look quite a bit different. So I hope you learned a little bit from this video, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video in our line of series. Thanks.